Okay, so I've actually never experienced fear in my entire life. I'm possibly the manliest man to ever exist. So when Goji Center posts a video saying, why should all Titans be terrified of the new Kong villain, I get freaking curious. I'm sure they should. He's probably absolutely terrifying, but I can't wait to find out why. You know what I'm saying? Besides the fact that he's just a big red ape sitting in a chair like a villain. So leave a like on the video, subscribe to Goji Center, of course. They're almost at a freaking million subscribers, and let's get into it.
In this episode, we'll take an even closer look at this new ape titan and reveal that this guy is not here to play any games. This animal will be a lot more terrifying than you think by the time you reach the end of this episode.
What?
To achieve that, we will cover 3 aspects of this titan which might help us understand this guy even better. We'll cover experience, physical attributes, and mental abilities, and a special surprise segment in the end.
Oh, damn.
So without further ado, let's get right into the analysis platform. Also, don't forget that the content in this episode is pure speculation, based on what we have seen in the title reveal trailer and what we already know as fact in the Monsterverse. Having said this, let's begin with number 1, experience. Experience is a result of constant exposure to a certain force or repetitive situation that in turn helps you prepare better for the next noteworthy occurrence. This comes with time. Nothing gets a bunch of XP out of nowhere. Now, by looking at this kaiju's physique and taking a look at the vast array of skeletons in this clip, we can deduce that yes, this kaiju has lived a long time. And 2, there might be something special about this guy. It's likely that this thing is a skilled predator. Or you can also use the word hunter. This word now completely sheds new light on this titan. For those of you who consider yourselves hunters, you are now going to like this thing a lot more. Successful predators or hunters all have one thing in common: knowledge. This takes form in many things, such as 1, being able to track prey by identifying game trails, scat, traces of blood, disrupted terrain, heightened senses of smell, etc. 2, knowing how to identify the weak points of said prey, such as the neck, heart, or lungs. And more importantly, number 3, being able to develop a vast array of hunting tools and weapons. But we'll go ahead and add a 4th one. A smart and experienced titan like this will most likely understand that spreading its bandwidth by using traps would be much more useful.
No way, dude.
These carefully in strategic locations where titans would wander by, ensnaring or trapping them where he can comfortably come and kill the trapped kaiju.
What?
That, or potentially go a step further and cap it off by taming his own smaller creatures to aid him during hunting.
I saw this theory on Reddit, and my god, it was one of my favorite theories ever. This dude, like, down there domesticating monsters and kaiju. All of this is crazy truth so far. The fact that there was a bunch of bodies and corpses littered around him truly showed everything they're emphasizing here. Kong may be in trouble. Dude, his feet get bigger every video, I swear to god, and I am into it. No.
That, or forming some sort of symbiosis between itself and said creatures.
Are those indoms?
We've mentioned this word in the channel before. It's where 2 creatures of different species form a bond that is in most cases beneficial to both. The Monsterverse is no stranger to this concept, so we shouldn't be surprised if we see this again in this film. So now that we understand that experience is something that potentially made this guy a good hunter, let's now cover some of its speculative physical abilities.
Ooh!
In this video, we will entertain the idea that this animal can in fact be described as an avid hunter, and go as far as theorizing that this animal is very much fond of this activity. Or else, why would he continue to do this many times?
It's a good point.
We did discuss that this animal is deceivingly strong in a previous episode, but to recap, we mentioned that lanky ape builds don't necessarily mean weak physique. These fast twitch muscles allow this creature to inflict heavy impacts. But today we'll delve further and talk about the insane amounts of reach this animal has, especially when we compare him to Kong. By looking at these arms, we can already tell that this creature will have an edge when it comes to delivering blows to many opponents.
Based off this photo solely and like my boxing knowledge as an individual, it looks like their stand-up game, he's gonna whoop Kong with that reach right there. But if Kong gets him on the ground, Kong's ground and pound game would decimate this guy. I fought numerous of my friends who are shorter and bulkier than me, and every time they get me on the ground, it's just donezo, dude. I feel like that could so happen.
Longer arms means you can reach the opponent before he hits you. But Orangakong here can take this even further, literally. Let us remind you that this guy
That's
is
dope.
most likely capable of crafting its own hunting weapons, and a weapon frequently used by hunters that excels in both close and long-range combat are spears. Yeah, dude, even chimpanzees use these in real life. Spears can be used to keep the prey at bay, stab at a distance while keeping the wielder far away, and can be thrown with pretty good accuracy. We discussed how this guy most likely has the knowledge of the weak spots of many kaiju, maybe including Kongs and Godzillas. Knowing exactly where to strike, not just with spears, but with other weapons it might possess, both crafted weapons and powers it may have within its own body.
Good God,
In a
man.
previous episode, we discussed that this new kaiju probably has attributes that are not found in this Kong, because this guy's eyes glow blue, suggesting that Hollow Earth energy is also a factor here. It's possible that over time, this creature learned to use this energy and voluntarily redirect it through its skeletal frame to any extremity, such as its fists and legs. Electric shocks have proven to, in some cases, immobilize a victim, which would be a very handy ability to have while hunting another kaiju.
That's like the entire basis behind tasers right there, especially those like police stun tasers, because those enter the bloodstream and completely paralyze you and freeze your body up. Literally not even that much electricity is needed to do that. Kong's gonna get tased, dude.
All these attributes are good to have, but in order to beat Godzilla and Kong in a 1v2 combat, we are going to need something more special. Mind games.
Oh, damn.
That's right, no Titan can just pull up to Kong and Godzilla with a bunch of spears and hollow earth energy and expect to win. There's something that this animal probably has that can turn the balance of power. Apes have always been known to be incredibly smart, and some go as far as being able to effectively communicate with other species. We saw this happen in GVK when Kong was actually communicating with Gia. So, can this ape do the same thing or better? There have been some videos circling around claiming that Orangakong actually said something in the beginning of the trailer. Right now, we're still on the fence on this, given that it's kind of unrealistic to think that this Kong can actually speak English. But what we do know for certain is that this monster would have certainly learned to communicate with or even mimic other Titans.
There's no way that thing speaks English. Even the humans that used to live in Hollow Earth long ago didn't speak English, so I don't know where the crap he'd learned. Let's see, it's like HBO down there.
And especially with Kongs. That's right, even if Orangakong is able to get some points across to Godzilla, this thing will most definitely be able to communicate with Kong on a deep level.
Oh my God. Sorry, I thought there was a murderer at my door.
It would have been the first time he actually speaks to a member of his own kind, or close to. If this is true, then we can safely assume that this guy will begin to play mind games with him. Having said this, we are potentially seeing the first case of trash talking in the Monsterverse. This can also go as far as this guy learning about Kong's emotional weaknesses. But what's his emotional weakness? Well, upon meeting him, this guy would most likely figure out that he has lived alone his entire life and has only a few things that he really cares about. Something like Gia, for example. You psychos watching this know where this is going. A crazy
He's
Titan
gonna kill
like
the
this
kid? Oh
who
my God.
enjoys the vile act of hunting and killing will most definitely use this against Kong. In the next film, we must expect yet another tragedy.
See, I feel like we have to maintain the comics here on this, the backstory. This kind of stuff has everyone in my Discord thinking Kong's a big, sad, depressed monkey who just mopes around scratching his butt all day. In the comics, it's specified that watching his parents die as a child, that being his first memory, left him a rage-filled, like borderline evil, just angry dude. Just who wants to kill and slaughter everything he can. He's not some big, emo, emotional monkey just like sopping his way through life. I mean, I guess he does have some emotion. I don't know. I don't really have those, so it's hard to relate to anything, but the comics specify he is born of hatred, not of sadness and diapers and poopy and all that crap. I don't know.
Because the moment where this guy realizes that this girl holds a special place in Kong, he will do everything in his power to hurt this child.
Kong should
And
eat
in
that
doing
kid. It's
so,
weakness.
anger Kong so much that he'll probably be driven into making rash, uncalculated decisions in combat. Which
no one
is
likes rashes.
exactly what this guy would want. This isn't the first time we have seen this dynamic play out. Back in Kong Skull Island, it was this skull crawler, Ramarak, who literally tried to do the same thing. But what about Godzilla? Well, this guy isn't getting away from the mind games either.
I don't know. I sort of thought he tried to eat Brie Larson just because it was a skull crawler. It's like a vicious carnivore just trying to eat everything it possibly can. I didn't think the skull crawler was playing mind games. Kong's gonna stop being a freaking simp or I'm gonna kick him in the nuts. I swear to God.
Now, we would like to imagine that pissing Godzilla off would not be a difficult task, given that in the previous film, Godzilla literally took this personally and proceeded to go ape. If this thing is indeed the type of hunter we think it is,
oh my God, they
it's
swore.
not too far-fetched to think this guy keeps trophies as well. Probably even his fair share of Godzilla body parts.
Ooh.
If this guy ever decides to pull up with bones of Godzilla's fallen ancestors, or worse, even wearing the skins of these fallen ancestors, this will become more than enough to inflict the desired raging effect on Godzilla. This scenario has become even more intense. But is this really all this new kaiju's doing? Is this thing actually this malevolent to come up with all of this on its own? This blue glow also suggests that there might be something going on in the background. It's also possible that this ape titan is being controlled, or at least doing the will of another greater power. Whatever this power may be, we'll be working on another episode to discuss this theory in depth. But for now, we'll move on to the last segment. How can this guy be defeated? Another reminder that literally all of this is speculation, but we need to explore two scenarios if we are going to answer this question. One is assuming that this creature is in fact controlled by another greater threat, which means that if this monster is ever to be liberated from this control, the greater threat has to also be defeated in conjunction. That's the boring answer.
I feel like there's definitely an Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader thing going on, but mostly I paused it for a second so I could choke on coffee.
The fun answer is number 2. Both Godzilla and Kong somehow figure out that they can in fact be more powerful. More specifically, Kong. Now, it's not too far-fetched to believe that Kong can still harness the power of the Hollow Earth. After all, we do have a clue that hints at Kong also being able to transmit energy. If we go back to GVK in this clip, look closely. We can find that this axe handle glows when Kong raises it, indicating that there was in fact some energy transmission between this kaiju and the axe.
Oh my God,
if
it
Kong
does!
ever learns this, then we are looking at possibly having a more powerful iteration of Kong in the next MonsterVerse film. Perhaps even powerful enough to level the playing field with this giant ape all by himself, allowing Godzilla to focus on any other threat that may appear later.
That's like literally my preference as far as like how the movie goes. I hope Kong just has to battle it out with that ape and Godzilla's got a whole nother issue on the surface going on.
Go check out a more in-depth discussion on this new Orangutan and its abilities on the
Orangutan
Beast Hub podcast. Subscribe and tell them Gochi sent you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
That was intense, but you know what else is intense is this guy's awesome mask that he wears to the briefings. I feel like if more people wore epic warrior masks around, life would just generally be better for all of us. All in all, this was intense as hell. The only question I really want to be answered though, because I have no idea what it is, and I don't think it can be answered until more footage is released, but how the hell this ape got those powers? I don't think anyone knows yet, but that's what I want to know. Be sure to subscribe to Goji Center, link down below. Leave a like, subscribe here too, and I'll see you next time.